Hello everybody, thought I'd read you this little story. This is called Don't Tell Anyone But. Squirrel was excited. She hopped and skipped and twitched her bushy tail with excitement. She had a secret and she had to share it with someone. The very first someone she saw was Rabbit. Rabbit was busy looking for the greenest, tastiest patches of grass, so she took a quick look at Squirrel and carried on with her search. Squirrel lowered her voice and whispered, "Don't tell anyone, but I'm having a big party with yummy food and funny hats." "Oh, really?" mumbled Rabbit, who was far more interested in her delicious grass. She wasn't listening properly to Squirrel at all, so when Rabbit spotted her friend Mole, who was busy digging, she had some rather strange news. In hushed tones, Rabbit whispered in Mole's velvety ear, "Don't tell anyone, but Squirrel's having a party and she's inviting lots of stray cats." I see," muttered Mole as he inspected his newly dug hole. He wasn't paying much attention to Rabbit. Later, Mole spied his friend Fox basking in the autumn sun and decided to tell him the news. He scampered over and said, "Don't tell anyone, but Squirrel's having a picnic and she's making pies for all the rats." "Whatever," snored Fox lazily. He was far more interested in catching the last rays of sunshine and had only half heard Mole's news. As day turned to dusk, Fox saw his friend Owl perched in an oak tree, waiting for the moon to appear. "I might as well tell him the news," thought Fox, who was more awake by now. So he walked over to Owl and quietly called up to him, "Don't tell anyone, but Squirrel's having a picnic and she's going to wear her fancy pants." "Well, there's a thing," hooted Owl, paying more attention to the moon than to what Fox was saying. Later, as dawn was breaking, Owl spotted his friend Deer. He was busy picking his way gracefully through the undergrowth, looking for tasty autumn berries. "Come here, Deer," called Owl softly, and as Deer half turned to him, he lowered his voice and said, "Don't tell anyone, but Squirrel has a pink stick to tap when she learns to dance." Deer stopped for a second and looked up in surprise, and then he turned back to a particularly juicy crop of blackberries. He hadn't quite caught everything that Owl had said. That afternoon, Deer bumped into his friend Mouse, who was scurrying around in the leaves. He was very busy eating the berries that Deer had dropped. "Owl told me the strangest thing," Deer murmured. "Don't tell anyone, but Squirrel's wearing lipstick and she's gone to tea with all her aunts." Mouse was very hungry indeed, and he certainly wasn't in the mood for paying much attention to woodland chit-chat. But when Mouse heard his friend Woodpecker rat-a-tat-tatting on an old oak tree, he thought he had better pass on the news. "If you can spare a minute," he shouted to make himself heard above Woodpecker's noise. Woodpecker looked down and the Mouse continued at the top of his little voice, "Don't tell anyone, but Squirrel's buying a boat ticket to sail the sea to sunny France." But Woodpecker hadn't entirely stopped rat-a-tat-tatting, so the message he thought he heard was quite different. "What? Really? Squirrel's won a prize? A lucky chance!" exclaimed Woodpecker loudly. Squirrel had been busy minding her own business, but when she heard Woodpecker's news, she jumped up. "Stop! Listen! You've got it all wrong," she called in frustration. At that, all the creatures stopped what they were doing and looked up. "It's not true!" cried Squirrel. "What? You haven't had a lucky chance?" asked Woodpecker. "No, I'm afraid not," replied Squirrel. "But you are sailing to sunny France, aren't you?" inquired Mouse. "No, not ever," Squirrel declared. "What about wearing lipstick and having tea with your aunts?" tried Deer. "Absolutely not," cried Squirrel. "So, no dancing with a pink stick then?" hesitated Owl. "Goodness, no," sighed Squirrel impatiently. "Do you even have any fancy pants?" asked Fox nervously. "No," Squirrel spluttered. "And baking pies for rats isn't your thing," muttered Mole. "Not in a million years," wailed Squirrel. "And you're not having a party with stray cats," Rabbit whispered. No, Squirrel groaned. But what is happening is that I'm having a big party with yummy food and funny hats, and you are all invited. The very next day, everyone gathered in the woodland clearing for Squirrel's big party, and they all wore funny hats and had the best time ever. Hope you all enjoyed that wee story. Maybe do another one very soon. Bye.